My administration is working every day to make it easier for manufacturers to build, hire, and grow in America. We're removing job-killing regulations and lifting the burdens on American industry like I would say have never been lifted before.
All right, that was the president earlier today meeting with the National Association of Manufacturers. That was at the White House. Joining us now, a rare New York in-studio appearance. She is the counselor to the president, Kellyanne. How are you? Good to see you.
Hi, Sean.
You doing okay? I got to see your husband. I haven't seen him for a while. He's going to be doing some work in D.C. too. You know what's amazing to me? So in the opening monologue tonight, I pointed out, all right, the speed of Trump, checking off promises, and I know we get caught up in the media's obsessed that the health care bill didn't get finished. It will. And nobody ever talks about all the good things he's done. Like, for example, I was like so happy this week over the EPA regulations.
Well, that was huge. And he kept a promise to the coal miners, and he's allowing the EPA to focus on what it's supposed to do, air and water, and really unleash that energy production in a way that makes us less reliant on foreign sources, generates all types of jobs. People complain in this country, Sean, that nothing's made in the USA anymore. Energy is made here. It's under our feet. It's off our shores.
We have more than we'd ever need.
It's time that we invest in it. And the president has promised and is now making good on those promises through a number of executive actions to unleash clean coal and oil, natural gas, of course, and any number of different energy sources. But also this week, he started the Commission on Opioids, working with this new White House Office of American Innovation that Jared Kushner has put together to lead.
You're going to be on this, right?
So Governor Christie is the head of the commission, and I had the privilege of sitting in on a couple of the listening sessions. And for the first time since I got to the White House, I cried this week, which is saying a lot.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was because I listened to the stories of Vanessa and AJ and of Pam, and it was just so incredibly moving to hear their stories. In the case of Vanessa and AJ, both of whom are New Jersey residents, their success stories, they found treatment. We need to focus on interdiction and prevention.
That's also a promise that he made to the people in New Hampshire in particular, where they have been devastated as much as other parts of the country.
Look, opioids is a crisis, though, in this country that does not discriminate. It is touching every socioeconomic stratus.
Everybody.
Both genders, obviously.
Scary.
All ages, people who have graduated from college, who haven't, who have jobs, who don't. And it really is scary. And this is a president who's very committed to it, along with Governor Christie, who will be heading up the commission in this Office of American Innovation.
So I put this up earlier in the program. Just take a look. I mean, I know that it would have been nice if the Republicans, after 8 years, had a consensus bill. You know I'm very critical of how this was rolled out. But there's all these success. We'll pull it up on the screen. That is President Trump's agenda. He checks it off the list. I don't think I've ever seen a president get a lot done as much as he can do by himself. I wish Congress would get their act together and keep up with him.
It'd just be good if people got the message. I actually think when you look at some of the confidence numbers, it does show that people and job creators, the job seekers, and the job holders, Sean, all are seeing very good in this presidency so far. So if you look at that National Association of Manufacturers survey today, it's the highest it's been in 20 years. The man's been on the job for less than 3 months. It is a 93.3% confidence measure. 1 year ago, it was 56.6%. That's not a margin of error. That's not tinkering. That is a huge uptick in confidence. You saw recently the Home Builders Confidence Survey, highest in 12 years. The Small Business Confidence Survey in Gallup, highest in almost 10 years. And it just goes on and on. People feel good about spending their money.
Would you, like me, and I'm not trying to drag you into this fight, like to see Congress better prepared in terms of the legislation, have their caucus, their individual components, the moderates, the Freedom Caucus, the study group, the Tuesday group, the Saturday night go drinking group, you know, get on the same page?
I'm not aware of that one, clearly.
I just made it up. Be ready for these. These are not small items that he's tackling here on the economy and changing the tax code and infrastructure, even the energy thing. There's only so much he can do on his own. They've got to be ready to game up here.
Any one of these achievements would be historic. So if you think about just getting 2 or 3 even in the first year, it's huge. And we know that healthcare reform will happen. We know that the president and every single Republican in the House and Senate who are there campaigned successfully on repealing and replacing Obamacare. So the question is, what are the next steps? You're absolutely right. The conference needs to come together. But you know what I learned through this entire process? And Sean, I'm old enough to have worked against Hillary Care and worked on Obamacare and all that.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
But you know, so I've been at healthcare for a long time, and what I learned from this particular process is that this is the price of success. This is a very diverse Republican conference. You have 23 Republican members who sit in districts that Hillary Clinton won. I mean, that's a pretty big thing. And so you have everybody from like a plus, you know, Republican 25 or 30 district, if you will, to a plus D, a single-digit district. So bringing together those diverse ideological and geographic viewpoints and just postures is very important. So look, people have to be brought from the table earlier. But I have to say, on this one, the president showed a great deal of leadership. He listened.
He almost got it over the finish line.
He worked the phones.
But they dumped a bill that had no consensus on his lap. Why did he have to do the heavy lifting when, in all fairness, the legislative branch had 8 years to campaign, run on this. They got the House in 2010, 2014 the Senate, 2016. Really, they didn't have a bill ready to go. That kind of makes me mad.
I'm confident that the conference will come together and that the deficit in votes was in the dozens. We started out at a deficit in the dozens and dozens, and it got shrunk down to about 12 to 18 votes, perhaps. So that's very heartening. But look, there were moderates who ended up not supporting it. There were conservatives who ended up supporting it. But that's the price of success for having a very diverse party. Look at the Democratic Party. Where are the pro-life Democrats, the blue dog Democrats, the pro-Second Amendment Democrats? They don't exist anymore. That party is much more myopic and the same now. They've been pulled to the left by some of their factions. But in the case of the president, some people would prefer him to be the closer on this and not the leadoff batter. Some people appreciated the fact that he and the Vice President, Secretary Price, Director Mulvaney, and others leaned in from the beginning and were very involved in the legislation.
They should have brought everybody in.
But it has to really represent, the legislation has to represent all of the disparate opinions, and most importantly, what the president has promised to do in repealing and replacing Obamacare. It's not sustainable, it's not affordable, so it will get done.
All right, good to see you.